Hello, Hofstra fans, and welcome to the WB Mason Coaches Report with Hofstra acting head coach Mike Farrelly. Mike, how are you today?
Good, Stephen. How are you?
Very good, thank you. So let's get right to it. Team is 2-2 on the year, coming off a win in the Long Island rivalry over Stony Brook. What were your thoughts on the victory over the Seawolves?
Nice win for us. Good energy. We came out with a purpose. And again, you come off the Iona game where we didn't necessarily have a great purpose in the second half of that one, and responded very well. Came out really, really strong. Maintained that energy for most of the game. We went through a stretch in the second half there where we just couldn't find the basket, but overall, played pretty well. I would say we probably played great for 28 minutes. Okay for a little bit, and certainly we couldn't make a shot, and then we were able to finish it out. So a good experience for us having to close out a close game.
Yeah, three individuals really stand out to me. Obviously, you're getting consistent contributions from Isaac Conte, so we're not even going to talk about him because he's kind of been the guy that you've expected him to be. Tariq has certainly taken a step up this year in his offensive production. And then in that game, you got two huge baskets from Jalen. And then, obviously, the biggest bucket, because it's the only bucket of his career, from Vukashin. Can you talk about Jalen and Vukashin late in that game and kind of what that can do for them moving forward?
Certainly. And we know, Jalen's always been a clutch player, going back down to Monmouth a couple of years ago, making the buzzer beater at Towson, big shots in the CAA tournament. So that's always been in his DNA and who he is. So I think it was after the under 4 timeout, we drew up play. We didn't necessarily take the shot that we wanted to. And Jalen gave me a look, and I said, all right, you know what? We have to get the ball to Jalen Ray right here. And called his number, and, he produced. So he loves those big moments. We know he's going to produce in those big moments. I wish he let me know a couple minutes earlier, and we could have gotten him the ball and, maybe stemmed that run a little bit sooner. But, no, he's going to be great in those moments. He's eager to take those on. Some of those moments that would have been Justin's or DeJour's over the last couple of years, he's eager to have the ball in his hands in those spots for sure. And then Vukashin, yeah, man, that was pretty awesome. To have your first career bucket, be the one that clinches the game, I guess, at that point against your Long Island rival was pretty cool. But, credit to him because he hadn't played the game before. We've just been talking about how this is going to be a process for him, how he has to work and build, and he's can't come into the office and watch extra film. He's always out there, getting extra shots before practice, after practice, asking to get in the gym. So kid's a hard worker. He's going to be a really good player here. He still has a ways to go and to grow, and one of those guys who, again, could have been afforded a summer and fall full of workouts. But he's going to be really good, and we believe in him and trust him. And, we're just glad that he got that moment in that big time.
And I guess a question with two answers here. What went so well for the first 26 minutes that didn't go so well for the final 14 minutes against Stony Brook?
And our energy was pretty good, I thought, throughout, even defensively. A couple of rebounds, I think, at the end that we should have had. That was probably the one thing that we let down, end of possessions, finishing those out with rebounds. So there was a couple of opportunities. We let Stony Brook get second chances and allowed them to, keep crawling back in that game where a rebound or two could have clinched the game a little bit earlier or, kept that lead. And then we just didn't make shots, and going through that was one of the things that the staff and I went through and watched all those possessions, I guess, from the 13-minute, 12-minute mark all the way down to the under 4 timeout. And we just kind of said, like, hey, were these the shots that we wanted? We had a shot clock violation the one time where we probably should have taken a shot earlier in the possession. Maybe one shot that we didn't love during that time. And Isaac probably didn't take the best shot coming out of the under 4 timeout. But over a 10-minute stretch, it was pretty good looks. We just didn't make one. At those times, we got to figure out how we're going to get a layup, get an easy one, get to the foul line, to quote unquote stop the bleeding, or just to get us in the scorebook and get some momentum going back our way. So that's something that we talked a lot about as a staff over the past, whatever it is, 5 or 6 days for if we get to those moments again.
But in the end, it's a win for Hofstra. It's the 5th straight in the Long Island rivalry, a game that means a lot to Hofstra and certainly our university. And now we move on to this week. 2 games on the schedule this week, both on the road. You head to Monmouth on Tuesday and then to St. Bonaventure on Saturday. Your thoughts going into the game against Monmouth, this will kind of be the second time you've prepared for them this year.
Yeah, this is like take 2 of our conversation here. Well, yeah. So, we've had that scout done. They haven't played a game yet. So, they've been in quarantine. They got out of quarantine last Sunday with the new CDC rules, so they've been out for a little over a week. So we'll be their first game, which, is the good and the bad, right? You don't get to see what this year's personnel looks like, but they also haven't played a game yet. Are they in shape for it yet? All these things that you just don't know. And as a coach, you drive yourself crazy thinking about. But I think the one thing we do know is they're going to be really excited to play. It was another 3-week delay. They haven't played yet. They're going to be really, really excited to get out on the court. So their intensity and energy is something that we have to match and then exceed in this matchup, because we know that they're going to be ready to go.
And that could be the case for both teams this week. St. Bonaventure had another game canceled over the weekend against St. Francis. I believe they have a game scheduled this week, but you never know. But they have not played a game yet this year. So you're going into 2 possible games back-to-back where you guys are 4 games in. Just remarkable. And the other teams might not have played a game yet.
Haven't played yet. Yeah, I think there's I saw something the other day that there's maybe 15 or 18 teams in the country that haven't played, and we have 2 of them on the schedule this week. So again, from the scouting perspective, it makes it hard because you haven't seen any of the new guys. You don't know what Monmouth or Stony Brook or St. Bonaventure have been working on all preseason. Maybe it's completely different from what they were doing in the past, but you just try to prepare your team the best way, do what we need to do to be ready to win those games.
Well, Mike, we wish you good luck in both games this week, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you, Stephen.
And Hofstra fans, thank you for joining us in the W. Mason Coach Report with head coach Mike Farrelly.